Hey campus community, I'm the Academic Review Coordinator, which means I am always neck deep in academic probation, suspension, and readmission policies. This video is going to quickly review those key policies and end with a few of the most common questions I get asked. Academic probation is an intimidating term, and so it can be helpful to explain it to your students as an academic warning because their cumulative GPA is below a 2.0, which is too low to graduate. Of course, some programs are going to require an even higher GPA, but the university minimum is a 2.0. Once our probation policy is triggered, meaning your student's cumulative GPA fell below a 2.0, so a 1.99 and down, students have 24 probation credits. That's about 2 semesters for most folks to get it back up to that good standing level. These 24 credits begin after the semester where they receive the notice, so when they become P1, and we're going to count any graded completed work, so classes where they get an A through F grade. We aren't going to count those non-standard letter grades, so we don't count SUs, withdrawals, or incompletes in those 24 credit hours. Here are the academic standing codes we see with probation. Note, standing is based on the most recently completed semester for that student. Grades from the fall semester are going to determine their standing for the spring semester. And then grades from the spring semester are going to determine their standing for either that summer or then the fall. If a student takes a summer session course, their grades from the summer will determine what their fall standing is. P1 is the most common. We have most students going through probation as P1, which means it's their first semester with a cumulative GPA below a 2.0. So let's say if you see they are P1 in a spring semester, that means the grades from their fall semester put them below a 2.0 GPA. PC. This means their probation continued. It's important here to count and see how many credits the student has left before they meet or exceed those 24 in the next semester. PA and PS are about suspensions. PA means that the student submitted their suspension appeal and it was approved, so they have one more semester to get back to good standing. PS means that they were suspended and came back through our readmission process. Both of these codes have one semester to get back to good standing. The other really common code that we'll see is a 0-0, and this is basically a null standing because these students haven't completed one semester at UNC yet, meaning they don't have a GPA. How about a tweetable explanation? Probation means the GPA is below 2.0 and you have 2 semesters, 24 credits to improve. All completed classes with an A through F count for the 24 credits while on probation.
And a little bit of la 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 la, a little bit of Alexis.
There are 2 reasons a student could be academically suspended, and these have nothing to do with our student code of conduct or disciplinary suspensions. First, the cumulative GPA is below 2.0 after 24 credit hours on probation. This means they reached or exceeded those 24 credits during that semester, but the final grades weren't enough to get them to that 2.0 mark. The other reason is because the cumulative GPA fell below or stayed below a 1.0 while the student was on probation. Now the key here is while on probation, because students can start their academic probation journey below a 1.0. We see that a lot with students who only have one semester of courses on the books. Note, a 2.0 is a C average, while a 1.0 would be a D average. Getting C minuses or D minuses is enough to push a student into either of these policies. If your student is suspended, they can submit a suspension appeal to try and get one more semester to get back to good standing. The deadlines, application, and information are available on our probation support website. Suspended students are also invited to a Zoom info session, and they receive a recording of that info session, so they have all the information well before appeals are due. Some students find that taking classes at a community college or just a few years off help them come back to UNC stronger. With Fresh Start, letter grades C-, D+, D, D-, or F will remain on the transcript but will no longer be used in the calculation of UNC GPA. these courses will no longer count for graduation either. These programs offer a fresh start, meaning students get an immediate GPA boost, but they will likely need to retake classes that are LAC major or minor requirements. We have two paths to fresh start, actually, and you can watch a video explaining both of them right here. There's more information and the application available on our probation support website. The last option for suspended students to return is our standard readmission appeal process. Students are eligible after one full semester, that's a fall or a spring, away from UNC. Readmission appeals are accepted on a rolling basis throughout the year, which should make it easier for students to appeal when eligible. And last, here are a few really common scenarios and questions I get asked about academic probation. The Academic Success Workshop is a self-paced course in Canvas where students receive the policy information and resources for support. It is required for all enrolled P1 students before you remove their hold to register for the next semester, and the ASW is open for any student who'd like to take it. P1 students enrolled in summer or interim sessions will also be added to the ASW early in that session. This is because those P1 students will be classified as PC, or hopefully good standing, based on the grades they earned in that interim or summer session. Remember how standing is based on the last completed term? Well, sometimes students end a semester as P1 and decide to take a little bit of a break. Now, these students are still going to be classified as P1 when they're ready to return for a new semester. When you are registering a returning P1 student, you can remove that hold without them completing the Academic Success Workshop, because I will see that they are now enrolled and put them in the course with the other P1 students. There are 3 great ways to check if a grade replacement was applied to your student's record. All 3 will appear on their unofficial transcript. First, it will say grade replacement under the course. It will also have an E after the grade. If the student repeated the course, it's going to have an A next to that grade because it's still being applied to their GPA and record. And last, check the math. With grade replacements applied, you should be able to see the GPA hours and quality points for that term adjusted accordingly. Many students take dual enrollment courses, and sometimes they earn less than a C. While their UNC GPA will reflect their dual enrollment grade, it will not trigger our academic probation policy. We don't want students starting their journey at UNC on academic probation. It is important to keep an eye on your students who aren't on probation, but their GPA is less than a 2.0 because of dual enrollment, since they are at higher risk of ending that semester on probation given their lower starting GPA. On the flip side, students may appear to be in good standing with a GPA over a 1.99, but still have an academic probation code. Academic standing is completed at the end of every semester. So if we're in the middle of a semester and your student had an incomplete that they turned over and it bumped their GPA up to a 2.0 or higher, they'll still be categorized as probation until the rest of the grades from this current semester wrap up and we get their final standing. Thank you for supporting our students as they work through the academic probation process. Check out these other videos related to academic probation policies at UNC. Go Bears!